I'm Jane Portal. I'm the keeper of the Asia department here at the British Museum. So I'm responsible for all the collections from Asia, east of Iran. The embroidery is a wonderful example of Tang dynasty embroidery, and it's the largest and best preserved embroidery from the 8th century in existence. It's very rarely exhibited. It's usually stored in here. It's been lent once before, but we're now preparing it for loan to Japan next year. This embroidery comes from Dunhuang on the Silk Road, and it was discovered in 1907 by Sir Aurel Stein. Stein was a Hungarian who became a naturalised Briton, and he went along the Silk Road from British India to Dunhuang, which is on the eastern end of the Taklamakan Desert, where the northern route and the southern route of the Silk Roads converge. And there is a site, Dunhuang, meaning the blazing beacon, and it was an oasis site on the Silk Road, and many hundreds of Buddhist caves were established there, all having wall paintings inside them. Stein was one of a group of explorers who went along the Silk Road in the early 20th century, and they were sort of competing with each other from different countries to explore and find relics from this area. And Stein discovered a walled-up cave, which behind the wall had a library full of manuscripts, paintings and textiles. And he brought some of those back along the Silk Road on camels, where they were then transported to England. And they were acquired by the British Museum in 1919. So this wonderful textile, which is almost 8 feet tall, which is really quite a storage challenge, as you can see, was mounted and backed when it came here in 1919. It portrays a Buddhist figure with disciples on either side, Ananda and Kasyapa. And the Buddhist figure is preaching. It has one arm lowered to the ground and one arm pulling up its costume. And below the figure of the Buddha are 2 lions, which are guardian figures for the Buddha. And then below that are some donors, and they would have been the people who had sponsored the creation of this textile to show their devotion and to increase merit. There are 2 differing opinions amongst scholars about who this Buddha is, whether it's the Sakyamuni Buddha preaching on Vulture Peak, which is shown by the rocks around the edge of the Buddhist figure, or other people think it's the miraculous image of the Liangzhou Buddha who emerged from a rock, hence the rocks around the Buddha. At the moment, the jury is out on which this is. The wonderful thing about the embroidery is that actually from a distance it looks like a painting. But if you get up close, you realise it's actually an embroidery. Very close stitches in different colours, and the stitches go different ways and rotate as well in places. And also there's a sort of outline in black stitching, which looks like the outline of an ink painting. So it's really an incredible feat to make such a large and beautiful embroidery. The remains from Dunhuang are very important, and there's been a lot of research since these discoveries in the early 20th century, and a lot of conservation on the site of the actual wall paintings, because the wall paintings of course are still in situ, and there are more than 1 million visitors who go to Dunhuang every year now. There's a link on the British Museum website to the International Dunhuang Project, which is a project which has brought together all the Dunhuang relics digitally. They've been photographed, conserved and catalogued. So even though the relics from Dunhuang are in fact spread all over the world, they can be accessed by anybody online.